everybody, and welcome to Envision OPG. My name's Kevin Shelton, or Envision, or if you watch my Twitch, XNX Vision, and I am here to cast the semifinals for the Iron City Games local One Piece tournament. This match took place between Noman Irfan and Jose Huscanga. Wow, I got it on the first try. That's pretty impressive. And their respective decks, Oden and Law. This is going to be a great matchup between two guys who are pretty well versed in their craft. Noman is a top tier Vanguard player, while Jose was one of the better My Hero Academia players in the state, probably in the region. But it looks like right now we're going to focus a lot on One Piece in this game and putting out content, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Not quite sure who won the die roll here. But this match is insane. I've been so excited. We talked about the Law deck in the first round, but Jose's Oden deck is pretty nutty. It's been really successful. If you haven't seen it, I actually uploaded a deck profile with the help of my buddy Jose recently. So if you haven't seen it, check that one out. It looks like we got a couple of mulligans here. Nobody liked their first hand. That's never good, but exciting for us nonetheless. While we have a break, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that we are doing a starter deck giveaway at 25, 50, and 100 subs. We may do more after. I've got more to offer, but right now we're going to take it one step at a time as we try to grow the channel, build the community, make it a place where people want to come and enjoy some really solid gameplay and some hopefully some really good content as well. And it looks like they're going to redraw and throw out their life cards. And it looks like Noman did in fact win the die roll. That's really good for him. So he can start building his board to get to the shambles, the feared shambles leader skill that he has to have a full board for. Jose playing the Momonosuke and the beige blocker. The Momonosuke is a search cards. You tap him, pay a Don, search for any Land of Wano card. That's a really good start for Jose. He's going to get to add to his hand, and he does get to utilize what we call a chump blocker, a one-drop blocker. It's basically all they're good for. Noman's thinking about how he wants to build his board up. He's just going to, it looks like he's going to swing in the face with Law before he does anything. That means he probably doesn't have a tapper, because normally he'd want to tap the Momonosuke to keep his opponent from searching. But he's going to drop two blockers here, the beige and the chopper, which is perfectly fine. He does have a standing Don as well, so there is fear that he could drop a... he's running red-green, so a Paradise Waterfall might be in hand, or the chopper one-drop event card. That gives 3k power. Here comes the Nekomamushi to tap the Nami. He's going to swing 5k into the Nami. And Jose wants to try to control Noman's board as best as possible, because if Law gets to 5 cards on board, it is big, big trouble, especially if he has Don to allocate towards resources. Jose's board is looking pretty spicy at the moment. He does have Okiku on board, which does help against the Law. Okiku says if you place a Don under her when attacking, she can tap a 5k or less cost character on your opponent's side of the field, which incidentally hits most of the big bads in Noman's deck. Noman does swing at the search card. That's a good card to hit. Search cards are probably the best blockers in the game. Bonnie, Jewelry Bonnie, both of these decks have Bonnies that they run, and you'll see those get targeted pretty quick. Noman plays the blocker Law, picks up Chopper, plays Chopper. I think they're laughing right now. He could have just not used the skill, right? Yeah, this Oden deck list has been extremely successful. Essentially what he's wanting to do is turtle up a little bit, protect his life until he gets to the 8-drop kid. I believe at some point in this game we'll see it, and once that happens, it's a big out for Noman if he can get there. There's the Ezo 3-drop on play. Rest an opponent's character that's 4 or less. So he's just going to tap one of the blockers, swing into the blocker. Yep. Rest the law. Most of the big bads in the law deck are going to be your 5-drop laws. You got a play set of 5-drop laws. Most decks probably have a Basil Hawkins as well. He does play the Momonosuke Search again, so he's going to check the top 5 cards of his deck for a Land of Wano card. And he's going to grab a Paradise Waterfall. Those cards also grab events for those of you who were unclear. Any of the searchers, as long as the type falls underneath the criteria for the search. That board is looking really scary for Jose here. Noman has to find a way, and he gets more Don here, so he should have a decent chance at building board. I'm not sure how many cards in hand there are. There's the first Jewelry Bonnie. This is a staple, 4 of in both of these players' decks. He plays the Bonnie. I don't know if he's going to search yet just to utilize a spot on his board. He is going to search. Okay, so he's going to check the top 5 and search for a Supernova. Both of these decks run a fair amount of them. A lot of the red cards are Supernovas as well. So it is a really, really strong card to play in Law. And in Oden, the 8-drop kid and the 7-drop kid are also classified as Supernovas. Bonnie is the only searcher that I know that can actually search herself. Nami cannot do it. I don't believe Momonosuke can do it. Maybe he can. I'm not quite sure. And he's going to allocate 2 Don to his leader and swing at the Okiku, 7 into 5. So that Jose has to drop 2 cards or the block, which he will do. Noman plays the Bonnie to get 5 cards, does the Shambles. And he's going to swing 5 into the Momonosuke here. Just get a card off the board. Unfortunately, Okiku does continue to exist on Jose's board. That would have been a very good out, but I think Jose did the right thing. It is a very strong card into the Law deck because it does help him control board. And as we start progressing into the later stages, you'll notice that none of these players are swinging at face. They're really trying to get a good hold on the board state before they start swinging in the face. They don't want to give their opponent any unnecessary cards, and they want to make sure they swing at face when it is in their favor to do so, because whenever you attack face or when you attack an opponent's leader, that damage does not go to a discard pile but their hand, so it becomes a resource. Both of these players playing very, very cautious. Jose searches with Bonnie and picks up the 7-drop kid. 7-drop kid is a fantastic card, by the way. It costs 7, but the effect is phenomenal. It's a 7k base attack. It is also a blocker. And when it attacks, as long as it has a Don under it at the end of the turn, if it is rested, it can restand and become a blocker again. It's insane. It's a great combination of offense and defense. And look at that board from Jose. That is just nuts. Still no 8-drop kid on the board. And I don't actually see one in Jose's hand. It looks like he's got a Killer and a Scratch Mana Poo, which is just a 2k counter from hand. Noman with his own Bonnie search here, trying to figure out what he wants to pick up. The great thing about both of these decks is that even though they're not getting swung at their life totals, they're able to add cards to hand, which I think makes this matchup even more insane. Noman's still thinking about what card he wants to pick. He must have some options here. I talked about it in the first match, but I did build Law recently, and there are a lot of micro decisions to be made. And it looks like he's going to pick up the Jet Pistol. If he's got an Otama in hand, he can Jet Pistol the 7-drop Kid, which would be fantastic, but you still got to worry about the Okiku here. Let's see here. He's just going to take Brook and swing 3K into Bonnie, which is perfect. Odd in the odd, it means that Jose would have to drop 2 cards in order to save it, or tap his blocker and potentially make it a target for an attack. He is going to tap the block. I'm just going to swing with his Law, and Jose's just going to let it go. I'm going to swing 5K into Okiku here. That's fine. And Jose's going to let it slide. Okiku did her job. She stayed on board. Noman's going to shambles here. Drop the blocker Law. Pick up the Zoro. He still has 2 Don as well. He's going to drop the Brook to allocate 2 rested Don, probably to the Law. And then he's going to, 2 more. He's just going to get that thing to 10 and swing at 7. And force Jose to guard with either 2 2K counters or a 2K counter and 2 1,000 counters. But he's just going to let it go. Noman did a very good job of outing the 7-drop Kid. That's a dangerous card. Not only did he get the 7-drop Kid, though, he also swung and KO'd the Okiku, which is fantastic. And Jose's going right to work with the Nekomamushi into the Bonnie. Again, odds and odds. That's a good play. And Noman's not going to tap his blocker. He's going to use that for something more important potentially. Izu swinging 6 here at phase or at the Law. Jose's going to throw 3 down unders Oden and swing it Law. That's perfect. 8 into 6. And now that's 1 Law gone for Noman. Jose drops 2 Don to play the killer block. And he leaves 2 Don up, which is oddly suspicious because normally you'd want to allocate a Don underneath the killer to get the draw. But he leaves 2 up, which would suggest that he has a Punk Gibson event card in hand. It is a 2-drop 4K counter that also allows him to rest an opponent's character that is, I believe, 5 or less, maybe 4 or less. This game has been insane so far. Nobody's taken, well, Jose's taken 1 damage, but it is a 4-4 game. This is super close. Noman allocating 2 Don underneath his Law, making it a 7K base. $8K base here. Yeah, and he just wants to make sure that he doesn't give Jose an opportunity to use that Punk Gibson. He is playing around the active Don cards, which I think that's very smart. Noman is an incredibly intelligent player, and Law is just dangerous in the hands of somebody like Noman, who's highly skilled. Jose is no slouch on the other side either, though. He's going to tap 2 Don here. Play another killer block. And I think at this point in time, he is really just hoping to find the 8-drop Kid. Right now, it looks like he's just going to turtle up. Noman Has 2 cards in hand. Jose has 3 currently. Yeah, there's the Don that you would normally attach. And he leaves 5 active Don cards. So at this point in time, Noman is absolutely sure that he's got event counters in his hand. He's going to play the Nami Search, pick up the Nico Robin. Nico Robin's skill is when she attacks, as long as she has a Don under her, she can KO an opponent's character with 3,000 life or less, which would include every character card that Jose has on board at the moment. Yeah, Noman puts 4 Don on his leader, swings face for 9, which is the right number if you're swinging into a Punk Gibson. And Jose killer blocks the first one and draws a card. Jose with the Nekomamushi play to tap the Nico Robin. Now he's got a target to swing at. Jose with the Momonosuke Search here. He's outed the Nico Robin beautifully. He swung his Nekomamushi, 6K and a 4K. And he's going to search the Yamato. The 5-drop Yamato, it is a double attack and banish. If you're not familiar with those mechanics in this game, double attack means when you would normally take swing in the face for 1 life, it does 2 life damage instead. Banish means that those cards that would normally go to your opponent's hand will actually be discarded. Apologies if you can hear me in the background. I had finished my match and I was just excited to watch this one. Nami swing into Momonosuke, and oh no, Punk Gibson rested the Zoro. It was a very good play by Jose there. 5 into Momonosuke with the leader Law. He is just going to killer block, draw a card, and killer has done its job. Noman's going to swing his blocker Law into the Momonosuke, and the Momonosuke is going to be KO'd here. The board state's looking a lot better for Noman. And I think Jose was asking if he wanted to swing Brook into Nekomamushi. He said, I do, but I'm going to drop this Otama first and make it a 1K. Yeah, and that's good math by Noman there. He's going to use his leader ability, Shambles, to pick up a card and drop the blocker Law. So he's got a little bit of protection on Jose's crack back here. Use Law's ability to pick up... Law's ability to pick up the Nami and put down the Nami. Nami's ability to search the deck for any Straw Hat character or event card, and it looks like he whiffed on that one. I have been there. It is not a good feeling, but he's got a full board here, and it's looking really good for Noman. Jose, I think, still looking for the 8-drop. He's going to allocate 3 Don to his Oden and swing into the 5K Zoro. No need to waste a blocker on that one. $6K into 3K. He's just making it as big as Law so that if he decides to block with Law, it does hit. He's going to play beige blocker from hand and leave 3 Don active. I don't know how many event cards Jose runs, but it looks like he's still got the Paradise Waterfall. I think he's bluffing the Punk Gibson. Here comes the Nekomamushi to rest the blocker beige, and Noman's probably going to look to clear board here. Turn that Nami sideways, big dog. Nami swinging 3K into the, or 4K rather, into the beige. And Jose's just going to let that go because blockers be blocking, whether they're rested or otherwise. 8K into the Nekomamushi just to get over any event counters that Jose might have in his hand. And Noman's board's looking very strong right now. I don't know that I've seen this Oden in a more dire predicament than I do at the moment. Still no A-drop kid. That's crazy that it's gone this long and we haven't seen it. Jose swinging 8 into the Nami, just in case he wanted to block with his kid. 8 into 6, that would have mathed perfectly. Drops 3 down to play the Raizo. Raizo is a win attacking. As long as there's another rested character on the board, he gets to draw a card. He's a free draw, and he's a definite 4 of an Oden. That card is insane in that deck. It looks like Noman's going to get an opportunity to swing at face here and do some damage. And he is just going to allocate all of his Dawn to his leader, keep the board state as it is, and deal 1 damage to Jose. If Jose was fortunate enough to have a search card in his hand, there's the A-drop kid. He did it. A-drop kid is, as Jarrett likes to put it, a set 3 card put into set 1 of this game. He's going to use Oden's leader skill to drop a card in Ready to Dawn. Use those to play the Okiku, and now he is looking at a very, very strong board. He might take some damage here, but that A-drop kid next turn is going to be really, really good. Both of these guys are playing a very, very strong game right now. Oh. Noman with the Otama minus 2K into the A-drop kid, making it a 6K, which is a target for the jet pistol. 4-drop, KO any character that is 6K or less. That was a fantastic out. It is one of the only outs that Red has for the A-drop kid. Well done by Noman, and he had been holding on to that jet pistol for a long time. And Noman's just going to swing face here and then drop the restand Law to ready his blocker and pass turn. Oh, man, what an insane turn of events there. Noman's board is looking good. He only has 1 card in hand, which might prove troublesome, but as it stands, this is looking really, really good for Noman's Law deck. Jose plays the Izo to tap the Nekomamushi, swings with Okiku, taps the blocker Law. Knowing his opponent has 1 card in hand, Jose swings at the blocker Law with 6K and no counter. I believe there was a mistake there. Jose was trying to swing it, swing for 4K just to get the draw. It does not, in fact, hit Law's life because it is 4K power into 5K. Jose's going to use Oden's skill here to ditch a card and Ready to Dawn. which would lead Noman to believe he has a punt Gibson in hand. And the tide's turned a little bit here, unless Noman can get a search card out there and fill up his board again. Jose just kicked the camera, but I was there. I was there to save it. Jose, stop kicking my camera, man. Dang. Looks like Noman's going to place, is that 4? No. Oh, maybe not. He's going to search through his graveyard here. I think he's trying to get an event count. Bluffing an event card in hand is a strat. It is a thing. You force your opponent to play with it, and as Jose shuffles his cards, you can see it clearly. He does have the punt Gibson. Noman's going to swing, it looks like 10K in the face, and that puts Jose in a position where he has no more life to give, and he's going to have to block a pretty big attack if Noman decides to do that. No blockers on the board for Jose here. He's just going to swing, it looks like 7 face. No, he's actually playing around the punt Gibson, and he's going to swing at the Rizo for 7. And then he's going to play the Jet Pistol to out the Yamato. And that'll protect his live cards for at least a little bit longer. Jose needs to get something. He needs to do something big here, because otherwise it's not going to be good for Jose on the crackback. Okiku swing, Don. He's going to tap the Otama here. He's going to swing with Rizo and get the draw from hand. So he's done an excellent job of clearing the board, knowing Noman has 1 card in hand. And then he's going to drop the 8-drop kid. There it is. Noman has 1 card. He is absolutely defenseless against it. 8-drop kid has 2 skills. You can rest it and play a card that's 3 or less from your hand. The other skill is when there's a Don card under this character rested, your opponent has to swing at it, and it is an 8K base. Jose brings out the Nami or the Jewelry Bonnie. Bonnie search, picks up the beige, plays over his Ezo for some protection, and the tide has turned. This has turned into a absolutely stunning move from Jose Huscanga here. And he's just going to allocate a bunch of Don to his leader and swing at the kid. He's going to easily beige block it, protecting his board state. Oh, man. I've played against that Oden deck many, many times, and there's always a point. There's always a point where the tide turns and it no longer looks like you're going to win, and you feel it. And it almost feels like that's where we're at. It is going to take a tremendous effort from Noman to come back here. He does have, I will say this, he runs Rush Luffy. 5-drop red card that says if you allocate 2 Don to this character in attack, it cannot be blocked by cards on the field. Jose's going to play the Bonnie search here. He's going to pick up another 8-drop kid. Oh, no. And he's going to play it. Oh, my goodness. He's going to rest the kid here. And I don't think he's going to add anything. He's going to swing 4K at face. He still doesn't want Noman to get too many cards in hand. He just wanted to get the Rizo draw. Ditch a card. Ready to Don with Oden's skill and pass turn. If one 8-drop kid wasn't hard enough to out 2 8-drop kids is far worse. Noman does have a couple cards now because he did take a swing to the face that last turn. I don't know that there's anything, unless he's got 2 Otamas and 2 more jet pistols in hand. This is just not looking good for Noman. Noman trying to figure out how exactly to deal with this. Jose did leave an active Don, so he might think that Jose's got a Paradise Waterfall in his hand. And that would give him at least 2K counter. So he knows he has to hit for at least 10 or 11. He's going to allocate, it looks like all 10 Don and swing 15 at one of them. And that's going to get the job done for one of them. I think the issue is going to be surviving this turn for Noman. He has no active Don, so events aren't going to be an issue here. Jose's going to safely search here for a Supernova. He's going to grab the Punk Gibson. Going to make sure that Rizzo gets to 5. He's going to swing 9. No. He's going to swing with the Rizzo first, get the draw. Okiku 5K at face. Noman's going to block that with Nico Robin. Oden 5K. Noman takes that one. Noman takes the 9K attack from the Eustace kid. And Jose's going to drop a blocker Law, pick up his Bonnie, play his Bonnie safely. And Noman somehow has to generate 3 attacks here. It's possible, and he's got cards in hand now. We might see a Rush Luffy. If he can find a way to out the blocker and then play a Zoro, but right now Jose's hand advantage is pretty sizable. He does grab the jet pistol. And he is going to pop the blocker Law here. So he's got 6 Don left. And he's got to generate 2 attacks. 1 to get over the 8K 8-drop kid. And the other to swing into Jose's life total for game. And he's going to just lay down the Nami search here. I think he's going to look for either 2K counters or blockers, and he's going to whiff on the Nami search. That is unfortunate. Looks like he's got a chopper block in hand. Or he's got 3 chopper blocks in hand, so he may be able to survive this turn yet. He does have 2 active Don, which might suggest an event counter in hand. He's going to play the 2K. Yeah, he's going to play the 2K Nekomamushi to tap a chopper, Don up the Okiku to tap another chopper, and that's all she wrote. Jose Huscanga with the semifinal game win, 2-0 going into the finals. And I'm going to give you guys a hint. The finals is an absolute barn burner between Jose Huscanga and his own deck versus Jarrett Hubbard and his Doflamingo deck. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for coming to watch. I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, ring the bell for notifications. I'm trying to grow the community as best I can. And so far, it's going really, really well here. I want to give a huge shout out to the guys, the whole crew over at Iron City, Anthony Casella, all of them, they're fantastic. They provide a wonderful place for us to play these games regularly. We couldn't do it without them. Thank you. Jarrett Hubbard, Jose Huscanga, my two playtest partners and great friends. I want to give them a shout out. We are still doing the starter deck giveaway. I mentioned it earlier. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it again. 25, 50, and 100 subs, we will be doing starter deck giveaways, guys. I appreciate all the support, all the love you've shown. And until next time, have a great rest of your day.